The Mighy Nein is back, some surprising Critical Role guest stars, and Lorcana announces its tournament plans.
Now you have my attention.
Welcome to Fantasy News Friday, your official roundup of all the tabletop and fantasy news that we didn't put into another video that we posted earlier in the week. This time, we're recapping the Mighy Nein Reunion, we're talking about Critical Role's Red Nose Day plans, and we're chatting about some competitive TCGs. Now, a reminder, if you like these videos, be sure to like and subscribe and comment so that we can keep on making them. After all, the algorithm rewards our videos when you do those things.
Help me help you.
Now, on to the news.
It's about damn time.
The Mighy Nein Reunion aired this week, and it was a mostly feel-good playthrough of the hits, with the Mighy Nein in one surprise edition taking on Trent, the wizard who was responsible for a lot of Caleb's misery, who was freed from his prison as a result of the solstice. Now, you may remember that this wizard was actually imprisoned by the Mighy Nein in the finale of their campaign, so really this was just a little bit of a boosted up replay of the finale, but in front of a live audience. Now, the Mighy Nein were joined by a new character, with Sam playing Veth's now teenage son Luke, and Daniel Sloss joining the table briefly as the doomed dwarf Aggie. Of course, Sloss and Aggie now have the record as the shortest-lived character to ever appear in a Critical Role episode, with Aggie lasting just over 21 minutes, beating Spurt by almost a full minute.
You watch as Spurt turns after throwing this, and then a giant hammer just Gallagher's Spurt across the stone floor of this.
Now, the episode ended with the Mighy Nein facing a kaiju'd out Trent and a surprise marriage proposal from Ford to Jester. Basically, the entire show was fan service in the best way. Even Bo and Yasha talked about how they thought that Imogen was cute and they would make room for her in their marriage, which literal fan service right there. And of course, the fans really responded. It was a great crowd, although that could just be because it was the first live show that we've had in years. The only really downside to this episode, and it was a fantastic episode, is that a lot of Critical Role fans were reminded how different the Mighy Nein is to Bell's Hells, and how much more cohesive of a group the Mighy Nein are compared to the new characters. There were a lot of comparisons made between the two groups, and Bell's Hells, well, let's just say they didn't come up on top very often.
That's rough, buddy.
In other Critical Role news, Tony Hale and Sam Richardson will be joining Critical Role for the newest Red Nose Day special, which will air on November 28th. As with past shows, the one-shot will feature fan input, with fans making donations in exchange for voting on everything from character classes to complications to potential plot points. Now, Taliesin, Liam, and Laura will be joining the two newcomers, with Matt Mercer, of course, acting as the GM.
Now, who wants to make a lot of money?
The first episode of The Wheel of Times Season 3 hints that the show won't be abandoning the third book entirely. According to Winter is Coming, a popular fan site that talks about various fantasy news, the first episode's title is To Race the Shadow, which is the name of a chapter pulled directly from the third book, and that chapter features another big moment for Matt. We've heard already that Galad, who is a character that interacts with Matt in that chapter, will be in the third season and will be played by Callum Kerr. And this episode title teases that the character will have, let's just say, an interesting encounter with Matt, who is at least partially redeemed in the finale of last season and hopefully can move forward and become the cool character that we all love now that he's out of his self-loathing stage.
I remember.
CMON has announced a new RPG based on yet another one of their IPs. This time we're talking about Blood Rage, a Norse Berserker-themed game that is being developed now into a new tabletop RPG. Now, we know absolutely no details about this new game, but it will apparently be available to demo at Luca next week. Keep in mind that CMON is actually the maker of the new Assassin's Creed RPG, which will be coming out in the near future and recently funded via a Kickstarter campaign. Disney Lorcana is officially launching a competitive circuit next year. Ravensburger confirmed that the official tournaments would begin in Q2 of 2024 alongside some new fan events, which are intended for more casual fans. Now, if you still don't have your hands on enough Lorcana cards to make a competitive deck, that's okay, because Ravensburger also announced that the long-awaited restock would begin coming to game stores next week. Also, reprints of the first chapter, which is the first set of Disney Lorcana, will be released in mid-November in North America. So hopefully that means more people will actually have the ability to build a deck to play in tournaments, as of course the game has been incredibly scarce since it was released last August.
Can't wait!
Additionally, not to be upstaged, Star Wars Unlimited announced its own competitive plans this week with a yearly galactic championship and competitive tier events that include planetary qualifiers, which are store tournaments, sector qualifiers, which are 2-day local tournaments, and larger regional qualifiers. Lots of competitive play coming to TCGs, it appears.
Hello there.
And finally, it's time for the release of another disastrous Lord of the Rings game, with Return to Moria coming out on PC and set to be released on console sometime soon. Now, this survivor-style game puts players inside the infamous mine as a dwarf trying to reclaim their ancestral home. That sounds like a fantastic concept for a game. Unfortunately, it's riddled with bugs and has a terrible AI, and it seems to be the latest example of a Lord of the Rings game getting rushed out solely because of its IP.
The dwarves delved too greedily and too deep.
Anyways, that's all the news that we have this week. Let us know what your favorite story is in the comment section below.